And then they show the clip from last week of Asuka and Charlotte Flair. This was the move that aired during the commercial break that we didn't get
Mm.
to see. So it's a superplex spot where it looked like Asuka slipped and then Charlotte just bounced off the ropes and her legs got caught. Really ugly fall here. And they stated on the broadcast she's going to be out for 9 months with a knee injury,
Oh,
which is
wow.
brutal.
Totally brutal. Yeah. I mean, it's never a good time to get injured, especially for something that sounds that severe. But WrestleMania season prior to the Rumble is probably like the most heartbreaking time, I would say, probably for a performer. I also wonder if this has forced them to change any bigger plans, heading into, I would say, or coming out of War Games, I should say. There seemed to be a real possibility of a four horsewoman reunion tease to oppose, the rest of Damage Control, and I wonder if all that's different
Well,
now.
look what we saw in the very next segment. It was the Damage Control vignette, and they, at least tonight, they scrapped any teases of dissension with Bailey. It was like they are
Mhm.
all on the same page now, and we kind of just reverted back to just they're all this united front, and they all. First of all, the subtitles have now jumped ship to SmackDown. They are now free agents, and they can go on both shows. The subtitles, as
Yes.
Kyrie Sane and Io Sky and Asuka can now all communicate to us. And Dakota Kai is referred to as the mastermind, and they're going to hold all the gold. Where Bailey said that the Kabuki Warriors are going to go for the tag titles, while she is going to enter the Royal Rumble and take Rhea Ripley's title. So they have like just set up a whole bunch of directions here for Damage Control, but it's all of them on the same page here. So I mean, you can always go back to the tease of Bailey getting ousted, but this felt like a real 180 from what they've been building for what has felt like months of Bailey being on the outs.
It did, yeah, and I expect them to go back to it and maybe even tease it throughout, this sort of temporary, I don't know, united front of Damage Control. But at the moment, it did feel like a bit of a change in direction. I thought the video was a really good idea. In execution, it felt a little too mustache like twirly, maybe for my taste, complete with like these sort of unnecessary like lingering close-ups of their evil laughing at the end. But maybe that's kind of part of the, I don't know, corny charm of a pro wrestling heel faction like this. But it was very welcome. We finally have sort of like we know the goal of the group, and Bailey's goal is to hold every women's championship in the WWE. I like it. You're basically getting the Kabuki Warriors now as a united tag team with their own mission. Bailey on a mission to win the Rumble and face Rhea Ripley. So I like this reset, but I can't help but wonder if this was maybe a change as a result of whatever happened to Charlotte in some way.
I'm sure it threw a monkey wrench into things, but yeah, that's terrible. Like 9 months, they didn't state what the injury is, but you'd think 9 months that tells you surgery and probably like tore, like whether it was ACL, like obviously 9 months, like that's typically the timetable you get for something like that. So very unfortunate for her, and just seemed like a total freak thing that was pretty much out of her control there. It was just like a slip, and she just had the like just terrible fall, like awful luck.
Who do you think this maybe frees up for? Because we all assume Charlotte would have had a spot at WrestleMania. Who do you think this what opponent would this have freed up in your, if you had to guess?
I don't know where, because it didn't make a whole lot of like there wasn't like that obvious direction for Charlotte beyond something like, yeah, reuniting with Bailey and Becky, because they'd already teased the Becky thing at War Games
Mm-hmm.
that they could have had them together. I mean, yeah, it was like that was certainly, I think a lot of people were looking at the idea of like teasing that and what's the status of Mercedes. Like, I don't know if that's so quick to do
Mm-hmm.
for a Mania thing, but that's I
Yeah.
don't know what it frees up. Like at least for tonight, like you could see probably like they are at least inserting like Meechin more into that babyface spot that's been opened up, but that was just for this week.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a WrestleMania thing. Like it's hard for it's for me. Like on Raw, I think Rhea versus Becky still feels like very much a destination. On the SmackDown side of things, it's a lot harder to predict.